Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Environmental Social Justice. I'm your host, Wendy Nystrom, and today we have returning guest. We have Mr. Dennis Calvert. He is the president and CEO of BioLargo. So welcome back, Dennis.
Wendy, thanks for having me. So good to be here.
Anytime. Yeah. And you know, we had you on here last year talking about all the wonderful things BioLargo is doing. You guys are growing like crazy. But today we're going to talk a little bit about battery technology and the importance of alternatives to the old standard lithium ion batteries. So could you talk a little bit about the history of what a lithium ion is and why it's in everything?
Well, it's just classic, isn't it? Somebody starts to spend a lot of money on it. It was chosen first for its features of lightness, right? It had this ability to carry a nice charge, enough duration so it could last a while. It had this unusual capacity of carrying a pretty decent charge in and out. So speed, right? So that's good. And then it's light. And so for the EV cars, lithium batteries make a lot of sense for those reasons. But there's definitely a trade-off. And we always say, you know, the trick is to really calculate, understand that trade-off. And is there a room in the world for something better? I mean, that's the theme, right? So that's part of our answer, is talk about a better battery for other purposes, really. We're not even focused on EV. In fact, just the other day, Elon Musk was talking about his Tesla batteries, and he thought the scope of the magnitude of business for fixed site long duration was going to far eclipse what EV ever thought it would be. And so that's what's happening in the world. There's this big push towards these fixed site batteries, and they have a different spec to me than an EV battery. And what the world needs is something that's safer, longer lasting, maybe less rare earth elements or no rare earth elements, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a big need in the market. And if you read about AI, artificial intelligence, and the supercomputing that's going to require, you know, those systems are going to need a lot of water, and they're going to need a lot of good batteries. And that's BioLargo's sweet spot. So
that's very cool. And you know, when people they're used to seeing lithium ion batteries because that's what most of the cars, most of our phones have lithium ion in them. But there are some problems. You mentioned rare earth elements or rare elements, not necessarily the rare earth on the periodic table. But these are things that are not common that are found. So we're mining these, sucking them out of the earth. Mining is not the cleanest environmental hazard out there. So, I mean, there are some people that are working on it, but overall lithium extraction is not
They're always working on better techniques to give everybody a little credit. It's not like they stick their head in the sand, but
yeah, exactly. There's constant improvement.
Well, and the geopolitical thing too, you know, this is right now, a lot of people believe that China is really dominating the supply chain for batteries globally, and they're not going to give it up easily. They've been acquiring mining rights. They've got supply chain established, and they like it, and they're not going to give it up. And so if you're dependent upon those elements that are largely controlled by foreign supply, then you're beholden to them. And with the demand for energy, you know, expected to go up, you know, 10x, and all of the dynamic that goes on with that, you know, there's a lot of sentiment and demand for better, safer, less geopolitical, if maybe none. And if you can get it in a, you know, made in country or in a domestic supply, wherever you are in the world, domestic supply sometimes is a lot better. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
We learned our lesson during COVID when, you know, everything kind of shut down. We realized our domestic supply was non-existent. We relied on many things being imported. And that's why we had so many backlogged items, and things to this day are still backlogged. But you have this new technology, and it's a sodium sulfur battery, or you call it a salt battery?
Yeah, we're still trying to coin the word. But that's insightful. You know, the fact that we're trying to figure out the right words to put it in a label it properly. It's hard to label when it's so unique. Okay, but it does have some sodium, right? It does have some sodium. It's got some sulfur in it for sure, and other chlorides, which we're really not disclosing yet. But here's the thing: this technology was developed over about 8 years of work by an acclaimed electrochemist from the University of Tennessee, and there was a team. They actually commercialized some of their battery designs. If you think about that, 10 years ago, they were 10 years ahead of their time, right? And so
definitely.
I know as an entrepreneur, we've slaved away for over a decade here. It's painful, and they were clearly in a painful journey to get that technology well situated, but super smart people. Anyway, long story short, it's a sad story. The father actually passed away, very suddenly, and the sun saved everything, and it never went.
Oh,
And so because of our relationships, the son brought it to us and joined our team. He said, I think we've got something really special. And as an innovator ourselves, we had the unusual ability to dig in deep. We spent a year in diligence, literally
oh,
looked at 20,000 pieces of paper. And because of our team's ability to do that, most people can't do that, number one. Number two, do they have the knowledge? We do. And we dug in and we said, holy cow, this is an incredible advancement in the state of the art for fixed site long duration. That's grid scale batteries that go in buildings. These are big industrial, right? So
very needed, very necessary.
Yeah, it is, right? So what do you do with big batteries? Well, you load renewable energy so that you can to deal with intermittency, right? So wind power, solar, collect the energy when it's available, store it, discharge when it's maximized its efficiency, balance the grid for these brownouts, when they get spikes of demand. Having large scale batteries is critical to balance out the grid. Microgrid development, another big buzzword in the field. That microgrid, people don't realize, but microgrid is the idea that you have a source of energy, you have a way to distribute it, store it, and distribute it in a micro territory, like a town or a community or whatever.
Yeah, so for resiliency primarily, yeah.
Yeah, right. So that you don't lose mission critical operations like in airplanes and hospitals and all these, data centers. It goes on and on.
Oh yeah.
And so what's happening is people are saying, do I want lithium batteries to fill that role? Because lithium has issues. And, when you go to check in on the airplane, they say, do you have lithium batteries in your suitcase? Why are they asking? Well, they might catch fire.
They might blow up.
We're prone to that. Yeah. And so then they have what's called a runaway fire risk, right? So runaway fire risk is this idea that one little breach in a battery, probably because of heat, maybe damage, could be water, whatever it is, pierces one, it lights the one next to it, that lights the one next to it. That's a runaway fire. And when you see a runaway fire, it's pretty astonishing. I mean, it's like you can't get that sucker to go out. And even now, with the change in the way electric vehicles are so prominent, a lot of fire departments, when you get a call, the first question they ask is, "Do you have an EV charger at your house?"
Oh,
because the response is different. It tells you a lot. And I think insurance companies are just figuring it out too. Really, there's a whole dynamic there. And again, they're not all bad, so we don't want to cast that kind of net over them all. But the concept of very large scale domestic supply, avoiding rare earth and safety, if you can match energy density and duration in a cost effective way, then that'd be a better battery.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And so we looked at that and we said, that's the future. And then, my goodness, in the press now, in the last couple of months, we're talking about AI and the development there, and water scarcity and recycling water, and battery. I mean, it's crazy. And the government, has put these elaborate incentives in place. That's under the Inflation Reduction Act. There's a 30% tax credit for anyone that deploys battery storage in combination with renewable energy. So that's 30% tax credit. There's also a 10% tax credit for Made in America. It's a big deal. 40% tax credit. And what you learn, and this was our thesis of the business design, we said to ourselves, this market is so big and the market's so anxious for a better battery. Better is the key. We decided that, having looked at the market so carefully, if you have a good battery, you can sell them. If you have a better battery, you can sell them all before you make them. Okay. Now that's a trick. And so we said to ourselves, after we studied the market for about a year and we started test marketing our battery into the commercial marketplace, we made a decision. And what we decided, the best thing for us to do, and remember, we're an innovator, solution provider. We're always innovating all these great things that make life better. We said to ourselves, what we should do is, instead of selling batteries, we should sell battery factories.
Oh,
and so
that's very cool.
It is cool, actually. And you think about it. So what are we saying? We're saying we've got a design. We have intellectual property. We have something that's really cool. And it's better in so many ways. But how does a small company, we're not a $1 billion company. How does a smaller company change the world? Well, you do it with good partners. So our idea is to take that technology and partner with people that want to own battery factories. Well, who wants to own battery factories? Well, somebody who wants a lot of batteries. That's a lot of people now. This big industry.
Oh, yeah.
And so what we can do is we can scale using the balance sheets and the cooperation of partners. And my pitch is real simple. It's a better battery. How many would you like? Because we can build manufacturing to suit the customer. And it does a couple of things for us, right? It generates early capital.
It's an on-demand order. That's great.
Conserves capital, accelerates our commercialization much faster. Because if you're going to build a factory, we did an amazing thing. We said to ourselves, for us to do all this, we got to have a battery. It can't be a design; it has to be a real battery. And so we're making batteries as we speak. Okay, and we're going to have public announcements soon about the cell. Remember, 8 years of work prior to us stepping in. We built a factory in about 7 months, and it's a little factory, like a pilot. We spent about $1 million, and we have these machines. And then we looked at it and we said, what if this is all the money we ever had? Could we turn this into into business? And we really studied it, and we said that little investment of about $1 million or so, if we had decent supply chain economy of scale, we could generate about $4 million a month in battery sales off that little plant. And that got us thinking, we need to be in the battery factory business, not in the battery business, because you can't possibly scale fast enough to serve the world. But if you do it the way we're doing it,
the demand is there. Yes, the demand is absolutely there.
It's really it's pretty awesome. So, and there's a bunch of tricks with that. As you study the market, who wants these batteries? Well, people that need batteries. Who needs batteries? Renewable energy, grid scale balancing, data centers. That's your primary targets. I mean, they're humongous. And if you talk about a 500 megawatt hour solar farm, that's 500 megawatt hour batteries. That's a $250 million order. This is big business. And so we said, we can do that and bring our expertise to bear for the people that need those batteries and make this happen in a grand global scale. And so we think it's a bright idea, and it's a better battery that really opens up that channel. Here's the other piece. We also learned that the supply chain is so critical to anybody that's in the battery business. And again, we don't have rare earth elements and we don't have limited supply, but they are pretty artful. There's some components that require what we call precision manufacturing, tolerances that are very tight. And so again, with our expertise in the engineering side of the business, we said that's where we can shine the brightest, prove the design, partner for manufacturing, focus on the consolidated supply chain as a component supplier to enable a global adoption of a great technology. So that's where we're focused, to really make that happen, to make the world a better place. It's pretty awesome.
I love how you ended with to make the world a better place, because that is the whole focus of this is we are trying to make the world a better place. You actually have a presentation. Do you want me to share it right now?
There's a couple of slides that people might find interesting. I'll show you a couple of images, and I'll go super fast. Yeah, so BioLargo, it's a small public company, and we've come so far, and we're just climbing like crazy. It's a great time to take a look. It is a deeper dive kind of company. You can't fly by. Of course, we talk about the forward-looking statements. Just remember, we have K's and Q's for the full disclosure. Risk, there's always risk associated with everything you do. And then
just let me know as you want me to advance, because I can't see you when I'm sharing.
Okay, next, let's do it. Good.
Awesome.
Who are science innovators, passionate about sustainability and human health, make the planet a better place, driven to make life better, right? It's all purposeful work, innovation for good. Okay, next. And we focus on best in class. If it's not best in class, we're not going to spend money on it.
Yeah.
Now, again, it's an argument. We know that. It's an argument. And we believe over time we prove those arguments. We win the argument. If we didn't think it had a chance to be number one, we wouldn't be doing it. Now, number one, technically, still needs adoption, still needs distribution, all these things. Heavy engineering and focus on problems without good solutions. Next. And in the company, so we've got a whole portfolio, right? We've got an engineering group. We've got an R&D group up in Canada. We call BioLargo Canada. Medical company that's advancing the state of the art for infection control. Energy that embodies all the battery tech. O&M environmental is odor and VOC air quality. And it's a huge commercial success. It's paying the bills for everything in the company. And then we have a PFAS solution. I know you talked to Tanya earlier.
We did.
The PFAS solution is a key cornerstone innovation in a portfolio designed to bring to the water industry to remove PFAS and recycle cooling tower water for data centers, all kinds of really cool stuff. So let's do next. Anyway, there's a lot going on. And then this is our revenue. It's always interesting because, you know, you hear these companies and I was actually in New York for a week this last week. And we really do stand out now because we've actually done what we said we were going to do finally. And finally is the operative word because it took a long time and a lot of money. And it's not, I always say it's not for the faint of heart. Okay. You better be really passionate because it's so hard to do. And now we're finally witnessing commercial success of some of our innovations. And so what happens is it's the rising tide. All ships at BioLargo are rising because we're becoming known. And we get more talent, we get more critical mass, and we have more capital, and we can do the things that we talk about in a way faster than we used to do. Right? So it's pretty cool. That's 9 years in a row of increased revenue. And right on the verge of cash flow positive and heading towards profitability, which is a big deal for a small public company.
And so, absolutely just spiked in the past 2 years. That's really remarkable.
Yeah, the analysts, you know, the basic review of the company for analysts is the pain it took to get here is behind this company. It was painful. It was hard.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Yep. And so that's number one. And then number two, the baseline kind of gets covered with the odor control and the things that are going on there with Poof, one of our breakout products. It's awesome.
I've seen the ads. It's fantastic.
More products coming, which have the same opportunity for massive revenue growth and margin, because our business model, like our build factories instead of build batteries, sell battery factories instead of batteries, is a scalable business model. It allows you to leverage your partner's tools to go big, and of course they get the lion's share of the prize. That's okay, because you can do it all over the world if you do it that way. So let's do the next one. Anyway, and then the Salinity is our brand. I like that brand. Salinity, right?
I like that.
Yeah. The marketing guy said we can't call it a forever battery because we're pretty sure it's not forever, but it seems like infinity. But anyway, it lasts a long time. We've proven 10 years, and we have evidence to support a 10-year claim, but we think it's going to be a 20-year battery. We're pretty sure. Now, we're not there.
That's unheard of. That is fabulous.
So, well, the reason is because it's a sealed design. And in a sealed design, there's no outgassing that occurs. So there's nothing in it that's moving. There's no moving parts, just electrons moving back and forth across the chemistry. It's electrochemistry, material science is what it is, right? And because of that, there's nothing to degrade it.
Oh, yeah.
In theory, lasts forever. Now, look, nothing lasts forever, so that's not the right word.
That's just close, though.
It's a long time. Okay, let's do the next one. Yeah, and this, we talked about this. AI is driving it. Boom.
Oh, yeah. AI is going crazy.
Yeah, next. Yeah, and then big data. Big data. Yeah. Big data needs big batteries.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's even talk about cryptocurrency. That uses a ton of energy and
data mining.
Yeah.
Last week, about a week ago, Forbes published an article about long durations, the core to tripling renewables. You know, it's gotten to where you can get more energy, but you can't store it. If you can't store it, you're just wasting it. And here's the thing. Think about capital deployment. If you're in the renewable energy business and you're making energy that you can't sell, that doesn't work. You got to store it and sell it, right? You want to keep maximum economy. Yeah.
It's a big thing in California. It's a problem. We need better storage.
Well, they've even passed law now that you can't put up solar unless you got batteries.
Good.
And so what batteries do they have? Lithium. Okay, now you can put them inside the garage, you can put them outside the garage. Anyway, I don't want to, again, there's some great batteries. I'm not really, the principle of it is safer is better.
Yes.
And long duration is better and less geopolitical is better. So
absolutely.
All right, let's do the next one. Yeah, runaway fire risk. It's the real.
Yeah, and when we talked about PFAS, the fire suppressant, it's got a lot of PFAS, and it's the only stuff that puts out those lithium-ion fires. So that's a problem.
It's a real problem. Yeah. Let's do the next one. These are self-explanatory. So better battery, that's our thesis. Longer lasting, non-venting design, performance, 100% domestics is potential. We don't need to go anywhere to get the parts.
Awesome.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. So let's do the next one. So we'll go quickly. Now, this is a lot of data. I know we won't go through, but I'll give the summary. We're 2.9 times the energy density with nice voltage, with no runaway fire risk. And when you compare us to the stats in the market, we've not seen a battery that can match the stats that we're talking about. Now, I want to just make sure that this is the caveat, public company, make sure we're clear. We also have to reprove it all.
Yeah.
So this is data that we acquired. We're now replicating. We'll be redoing all these data points to make sure people understand. We believe them to be true. We're confident about where we're headed. But there's still that element of, okay, have you got a battery yet? Have you scaled up manufacturing? We're overcoming those obstacles to make this work. So let's do the next one. But so far, so good, right? I encourage you. Those are two designs. Yeah, two designs that make sense. One is a 1 megawatt. That's a 20-foot trailer. And those are competing products right there. And they do work. They're good. They're batteries. They're decent batteries.
Yeah.
You might have a 2-year wait to get one. That's not good. And
not good with, I do a lot with resilience and disaster recovery. So, you can't wait for 2 years if you need it now.
And it's going to get worse, right? That's the other thing.
Oh, yes.
And then small units like the size of an air conditioner next to your house, same thing. They're all good markets. I think what happens is by the time you get scaled manufacturing and you've proven out your claims, I really do believe you sell 100% before you make it. And so the demand is so insatiable with the tax credits and the incentives and the demand. It's just a great time. Yeah. Next. And then there's that little factory we talked about.
Tennessee. Love it.
Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Yeah, and so just think about that. It's a little bit over $1 million. That's all the equipment that's used to make a cell. And that little facility right there, assuming reasonable supply chain on parts, you could do about $4 million a month, in revenue and make money. Now,
impressive.
Model is to use this as a pilot facility to show how to make it and then replicate that to scale to like $100 million factory, okay? But not a $500 million factory. Okay, big difference. Those modular, produce high quality batteries, build up a distribution and selling channel, and literally sell them before you make them all. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, because then you don't have to worry about having supplies on hand and waiting.
Right. So
on demand.
Anyway, it's pretty cool. So most people can't do that. We did that. So we're making sales as we speak. We're hoping to come out. Let's look at the next one real quick. Here's the build-up. Yeah. So how do you monetize this as a company? Well, we looked at the traditional route and we've seen a lot of bloodletting. Okay. There's blood in the streets. And I mean, there's blood in the streets. There's so much money that's been spent. And when the incentives kick in and people rush, they tend to go fast and blow a lot of money. Okay.
Oh, yes.
And so there's an idea in the marketplace that to be a competitor in a battery industry, you need this massive scale. Well, we're breaking that down. We're saying, no, you need a better battery. And you need a business model that allows for scale. I don't have to go spend $500 million to be successful. So, right, that traditional idea is scale, 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 scale. So we see companies that have spent, $250, $400 million. And now here's the good news. They got backlogs of orders over $1 billion, but their stocks underperform. Market gets impatient. Capital markets just chew them up. If you said, look, I'm going to do this thing, but I'm not going to generate revenue for 3 or 4 years, Wall Street's not going to back you. They're going to eat you up. We looked at that and we said, we can't do that.
No.
Partner to success for cash flow, minimize capital requirement, spread the wealth, leverage the design, and then make with a partner, make an impact. That's the whole concept. And then, of course, the third is to participate in the energy delivery itself. Go vertical.
Oh.
Well, if you got enough batteries, you can be in the energy business, but you can't do it without batteries. So first things first, we look at that vertical integration and we say, yeah, we'll be a player there, but not yet. Let's focus first on how we get this to scale. So anyway, there you go.
And then we got this one.
Timeline. Yep. There's a lot to do. We're at the stage 2, making test cells. Then we got to scale up cell design. Then we're going to need to form licensing partnerships, get into the component manufacturing, and then go to work. And so that scale, here's the good news. When we form those licensing partnerships, that's commercial. That's when we go commercial.
That's
we
fabulous.
Haven't delivered a battery yet. We'll deliver factories. We get paid to do that. Why will people do it? Because they want all the batteries we can make.
Yeah. No, without a doubt.
Yeah, and there's a lot of government interest in all of this. So we're on a march. We're marching ahead. And the good news is we've got this base of business at BioLargo that helps us do this. And then, of course, we do bring direct investors in that make it work. And it's a good situation. I'm very excited about this. I think it's going to be impact for a good decade to come.
Oh, absolutely. Shall I go to the next, or? Yeah, we got this one, the family of companies.
That's about it.
Oh, wow. That is, I like this slide. It kind of gives you a really good idea of exactly all of your pinpoints where you guys are.
Yeah, we're not a huge company. The thing is, we're deep in talent. We've got about 8 or 9 PhDs and 20 or so engineers, world class, that can do about anything. And then we kind of wrap it with some entrepreneurial spirit, unique business model, passion for impact, and we can do, with our crew, we can do a lot. Mostly because we focus on the cornerstone of innovation that becomes the bedrock to build for market position. And we're good at that. And that's one of the reasons people like our company, is because it's just such great technology.
And, I know a couple of your folks, and they're fine people. I am huge fans of the people that you have.
They care, right? They really care. They really want to do something. Yeah. As a culture, we have a company that's, everybody's, hours, there's no hours. We're working all the time. But what happens is, it's such an open culture of innovation. And to do that, you have to accept some failure, right? I mean, that's how it works, because inventors failed 1,000 times before they were successful. Well, we're doing all that all the time. And we have a whole machine that just constantly is cranking out these ideas. And so about every 2 weeks, we sit on a big conference call as a team. And we say, what's going on in the world, and can we make an impact? What could we do that might make that better? And is it worth it? Does it have market share? Can we do it? Do we have enough capital? What about time? We're pretty busy.
Yeah.
There's a lot to balance there. But that culture is pretty powerful. People really have to be part of the company. So I love
you guys are good people. I mean, when I was introduced to you last year, and then when I met Tanya, and then I met Cynthia, it's a great group of people. And I just connected with Alex. Great organization. Really, I mean, seriously, top-notch people. I mean, yes, they're brilliant. They're smart. This is a given. But they're just kind. And that is what is also extremely important, in my personal opinion, is to work with other kind people, because that's the rarity out there, to be honest.
Well, it is. It's, the pressure of the world just circles you on a daily basis. But I think that's it. And we've somehow managed to survive through this long journey. It's over, 15 years of work, right? And to now finally experiencing the fruit of that investment with yield, revenue growth. We used to win all these innovator awards because they're great ideas. But until you commercialize it, you start to see the money flow. You're always beholden to the next amount of capital. So that's beyond us. That's the past.
Yeah, that's when you saw your revenue doing that.
Pretty good. Yeah.
That was exponential. That was the hockey stick that people talk about.
I did this presentation last week in New York, and I said, we didn't forecast the hockey stick. We just did it.
Yeah. But that is a testament to you and your group, and the innovation, yes, but actually scaling it up and doing it right, and doing it for all the right reasons. That's what really shines.
Well, I think, we talk about that as people all the time. When we're done, we say, job well done. I mean, it's just, something you're proud of. I think that emanates from the company. It's why we've survived when most fail, really. People talk about startups at 90% failure rate. It's higher than that. I mean, are you kidding me? It is so hard. And so we've been so fortunate to have great supporters, and then the diversity allowed us to deal with the ups and downs. Somebody said to me, well, why do you just pick one? And I said, because they're all so risky. It's like, I know how risky they are. And so the diversity allows us to leverage a core competency of infrastructure that no company like us can match. I mean, it's astonishing. Who can do all the things? Well, we can, because we have that talent pool. And I've got 25 different ways to make money. And so as a result, we're resilient from the financial pressures that most companies have, because we've diversified, we've scaled our business model on high margin, high growth. And then we preserve capital so tightly so that we can really go impact through that partnership model. And that's ultimately what we're going to be known for. You did so much with so little.
Yes, that is very true. That, right. Yeah. You guys, I mean, because I've watched you over the past couple of years. I met you last year, so about a year and a half now that I've been following BioLargo pretty closely. You are publicly traded. I have been following that as well. And it's been, your revenue doubling year over year over year. That is unheard of for most startups and for most people in general.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, and you know, as we've got some princes, but we had to kiss a few frogs along the way, and so now we've got these champions that are our partners, and we've become a better partner too. I mean, the reality is we're better, they're better, the technology's advanced. You know, these products are not, none of them are easy. In fact, this is one of the most difficult things in my career I've ever done, but it's so awesome. You get excited because you know you're going to do something great. You can be proud about it. And ultimately, we've got, you know, so many shots on goal. That's the way the Wall Street talk about us. You got so many shots on goal. I said, I'm gonna hit them all. They're all going in the net, every one of them. It's pretty cool.
And what was it, Wayne Gretzky? You only miss out on the shots that you don't take.
You got to show up. That's half the battle.
Show up. Half the battle is showing up and hitting.
We've had over 700 investors. I mean, it's crazy, and we were so thankful for them, and mostly patient. Not all of them, but mostly. That's why the public company was so good. If somebody couldn't wait, you know, there's a way to get out. But we're now at the point where we're recognizing returns. Took a long time. And and it changes. Everything changes. As the revenues climb, you know, we always say all ships rise at BioLargo. They're all rising. And we've got more people and more critical mass and more capital, more trustworthy, right? That we've got results to prove that our claims are real. And it took a long time to get those results. And so now we just need to keep that momentum, and, you know, as I always say, just don't screw it up. It's so good. Don't screw it up.
You're going to keep that momentum, and trust me, from what I know about all you and the people that I know in your team, you're not going to screw it up. You guys are too careful. You've got some brilliant talent behind you.
Yeah, well, and my dad always used to say hard work makes up for a lot of mistakes, right? So we work hard, we try to keep it right, and we care, right? We care. We care about what we're doing. We care about the people that back us, and we care about our partners. The other thing too is, I think, you know, being a good partner for your partner. You know, we're good partners. We're good partners. So when people say, I want to partner with you, you know, we show up when most don't. And as a result, they can depend on us for that thing they need from us, whatever it is that allows it to escalate and go big. And we, you know, that's part of it. All of that's required to be successful. So
you're doing you're doing everything right, and you're doing good work. I mean, you're doing what is right that this world needs. So if Dennis, if people wanted to find you, hunt you down, what's the best way for them to give you a call?
The website's biolargo.com, of course. And my email, you're happy to reach out. DC, Dennis Calvert, DC@biolargo.com.
Oh, that's easy. That is a very easy.
Alex is head of corporate communications. Alex@biolargo.com. Alex Evans. We try to reach out. You know, if you don't hear from us, we're not ignoring you. We're just busy. Yeah. But you can. I always say you can ping me through 2 or 3 times. We'll find you. We'll make sure.
So. I've never had a problem getting through to you or anyone on your team. They're very responsive. So
the pace is kind of crazy, though. It's pretty intense, and because we're just right on the cusp of breaking through in so many areas, we're really on a scramble to just keep up, and it's a nice problem.
It's really a nice problem. It's a good race to have.
Yeah, and I look at the bank balance, and every day there's a little more there. There's a little more there. It's pretty good.
It's very exciting. So, you know, Dennis, thank you for your time. I mean, I know how crazy busy you are, and just to give me half an hour of your time, I'm truly grateful for that.
Thank you for what you're doing. It's so important. So important. There needs to be a voice for all this stuff, and you're it. So I love it.
Thank you. I do try to keep it simple and let everyone know what's out there, because if someone doesn't know you're out there, how are they going to know to give you a call and say, I would like to get a battery made with sodium and sulfur?
Yeah. Or almost any environmental problem. I mean, it's crazy. We're doing so much, but.
Oh yeah. And the PFAS remediation, we talked about that guys, that's coming out later as well. Yeah. PFAS is a huge problem, and you guys have a technology that does it better, faster, cheaper than anyone else I've seen. Yeah. So.
And the regs now, as of Thursday of last week, the regs are set. Regs are set. They're pointing everybody right to us. It's a pretty beautiful moment. Yeah. Anyway, we love our customers and glad to do an impact, focus on impact, and hope you'll follow the company. And Wendy, thanks for all your work.
Oh, anytime. And thank you. It's been a true pleasure. So guys, please check out Dennis Calvert. Please check out BioLargo. Check out what they're doing. They have a ton of technologies. And if you have pets, get that POOPH. It's POOPH. Yeah, it's odor control. It works. Trust me on this one. And I'll check you guys later. My name is Wendy Nystrom. I'm your host with Environmental Social Justice, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Awesome.
Awesome.